APM Terminals, West African Container Terminals (WACT), Onitsha Port, Rivers State, and Ibeto Group have commenced a joint barging operation and received the first barge call, marking a significant milestone in their recently formed partnership. The inaugural barge call signifies the activation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between WACT and Ibeto Group in the first quarter of 2024. The partnership is aimed at promoting strategic collaborations in barging containers between the West African Container Terminal Onitsha and the Ibeto Terminal in Port Harcourt. Hinge on customers' desire for seamless clearance and delivery of their cargoes and removal of bottlenecks associated with logistics for both import and export. The West African Container Terminal and Ibeto aim to eliminate the hassle and associated cost and risk of trucking containers between Onitsha Port and to provide shippers with the opportunity of accessing empty containers and stuffing export-bound goods at Ibeto Terminal while utilizing the West African Container Terminal's newly commissioned Container Terminal Freight Station. This development is a significant milestone in the history of the West African Container Terminal and the people of southeastern Nigeria. The West African Container Terminal's MOU with Ibeto is the culmination of a process which have been ongoing for a couple of years, where the group have been working with shipping line partners as well as the Ibeto Group to develop a product that enhances the offering that exists in the terminal to enable customers choose between taking delivery of their containers through trucks or through barges, thereby bypassing the difficult road conditions. The West African Container Terminal is the first greenfield container terminal in Nigeria to be built under a public-private partnership model. The terminal is located within the oil and gas free trade zone of Onitsha, Rivers State. Over the years, it has grown to become the most efficient gateway to market outside West Africa, and it is a major gateway to eastern Nigeria. Nigeria's overdependence on Lagos port has brought untold hardship on shippers, importers, and other key stakeholders. Currently, it takes an average of 14 days to complete cargo clearance at both Apapa Port as against the global standard average of 48 hours. Divergent figures have shown that Nigeria loses an average of $14 billion annually due to port congestion, hence the need to develop and increase the cargo handling capacity of the eastern port. As the Nigerian Port Authority commits towards attracting more import and export businesses to the Calabar, Port Harcourt and Warri, by granting new tariff reliefs to shipping companies, terminal operators, the focus is on improving maritime activities on the Eastern Corridor through a massive expansion of port infrastructure and vessel handling capacity. Upgrading the cargo handling capacity of the Calabar, Port Harcourt and Warri ports with modern infrastructural, technological and manpower requirements means that the hugely accumulated Lagos port will undoubtedly witness unprecedented decongestion, efficiency and orderliness. This is expected to improve Nigeria's ranking on the World Bank Logistics Performance Index, make our port more globally competitive, promote the ease of doing business across nations, improve general export activities, increase government revenue by more than $14 billion annually. A viable eastern port will promote massive improvement in shipping and cargo operations in the Onitsha region and Warri Port. By implication, shippers in the Middle Belt, Northeast, Southeast and South-South region may never need to consign their cargo to Lagos, but will gladly explore available options like Warri, Calabar and a massively improved Port Harcourt and Onitsha Port to choose from. Also, it will make great economic sense to develop more inland dry port across all regions, connect more rail lines, in addition to drastic improvement of the federal road route to this port. This will facilitate a more efficient evacuation of cargo. However, efficiency in the cargo clearance process can also depend on the deployment of a limited number of port agencies. There are several agencies, about 14 of them, with duplicated functions, causing delays in the cargo clearance process due to the multiple physical examination. This concern needs to be addressed to enhance efficiency in the port operations. With this container barge deal between Ibeto and the West African Container Terminal coming on board, the implication of this is that the trauma businessmen face in going to Lagos to clear their containers and to hire trucks at a very exorbitant rate to bring them down to the southeast, with high cost of settling security men on the road and the risk of road accidents involving the truck and loss of wells, will be a thing of the past if this continues. Recall that this same process was done in 2020 on October 6 in Onitsha, when the business community came alive with excitement over the arrival and reception of a barge conveying containers in Onitsha River Port from Onitsha Port in Rivers State. The barge at the time landed with several containers belonging to businessmen in the commercial city of Onitsha, Anambra State and other southeastern states. At that time, it was the first time containers were actually shipped directly to Onitsha in over 40 years. The excitement at the time soon snowballed into a political argument as some supporters of the president at the time praised him for doing what no past president has done, while those against him dug deeper to report that the barge was not full of cargo vessels sailing into the port from outside the country, but a barge carrying containers, which were moved from Port to Onitsha. This was what led the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority to call together the business community in Onitsha for an interactive stakeholder meeting. Effective cargo management is essential to the smooth operations of Nigeria's ports and terminals. The management of cargo on arrival at the port and terminals directly impact the nation's commercial, economic, and international trade status. For those who are yet to understand this concept, barges are flat-bottom raft-like boats propelled by their own engine or towed by another, built primarily for conveying cargo on canals and rivers. Barge operations in the context essentially involves the use of barges for conveyance of cargo on inland waterways from one point to another. The Onitsha Inland Waterway stands out as one of the key drivers of the economies in the southeastern Nigeria, but sadly, the river over the years has not been dredged. Politics is said to be holding down the takeover of the Onitsha River Port after it had been commissioned 3 times since 1983. The port, described as a potential cash cow for Nigeria if it becomes operational, may be needing 16 billion naira to dredge the channel. Since Nigeria's independence in 1960, shipping activities have been dominant in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Calabar, and Warri, and since then, the major stakeholders in the port mentioned above are people from the southeastern zone. Due to the astronomical increase in shipping demand from the southeastern region, agitation for the Onitsha River Port began, and in line with clear demonstration of democracy, their request was granted through the commissioning of the port in 1983 by the late President Shehu Shagari. Surprisingly, the port has remained moribund for many years, creating room for further protest. Then in 2012, the then President of Nigeria visited the port and commissioned it the second time. By this second commissioning of the port, many stakeholders jubilated, but still it was not utilized. From 2012 to 2017, no cargo was exported or imported through Onitsha River Port, leading to a third commissioning by the former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, in 2018. And since the last commissioning by the past President of Nigeria, shippers in Anambra State have been working hard to see that the port becomes functional. It has also been noted that the success story of the port will not be complete until shippers in the southeastern region and south-south region or northern region start patronizing it. Which is why the Ibeto Group and the West African Container Terminal saw the need to use barges to move containers from the Port down into Onitsha, as this activity will help deepen commerce in the southeast and south-south zones of Nigeria. To be candid, the collaborations between Ibeto Group and the West African Container Terminal is significant for moving containers in Port complex, including Beja Jetty, for several reasons. The partnership streamlines container handling and logistics, reducing congestion and increasing the speed of cargo clearance. Ibeto Group's expertise and resources, combined with West African Container Terminal facilities, expands the capacity for container handling. Also, efficient container movement stimulates economic growth by facilitating trade, reducing costs, and improving delivery times. The partnership ensures secure and reliable container handling, reducing the risk of cargo theft or damage. This and many more will go a long way to boost business activities in the southeastern part of Nigeria and also reduce the cost of items, as it will reduce the cost of clearing goods, as it creates an enabling environment for containers to be brought down straight to Onitsha and cleared at the port. Do well to drop your honest comment, tell us what you think, don't forget to subscribe and share. Thank you.